All right, now that you have squatted successfully, we're gonna go ahead and start to recover a bit and work on stretches. So the first thing you want to focus on is tackling one of the biggest muscles used during your squats, your quads. And to get set up for a quad stretch, I recommend my favorite way to do this is grab a pad, put it down on the ground so that you have a little bit of cushion for your knee. We're going to take a single kneel down on top of it, and we're going to focus on bringing that front leg out to about a 90-degree angle here. Now, this is the leg, the one with the knee down, this is the leg that we're stretching. And to get set up properly, take yourself through these following steps. Try and imagine a power source right in front of your hip that is extending up and down at the same time, creating length and space in the front of your hip. And so when you do this, you might feel your knee actually drive more into that pad. Number two, take your pelvis now, and we're actually gonna try and tuck our pelvis. So it takes your tailbone and brings it underneath your body. When you do this, you might feel a little bit of tension in your abdomen, and you might also feel a little bit of a squeeze to your glutes. Now this might already be enough for you, and so if that's the case, let's hold that stretch here. What you can also do, if your knee is bothering you in this position, is flatten out your back foot like so. Let the top of your foot actually relax on the ground a bit. That should take the pressure away from the knee. Now if you need more stretch, what you can do instead of lunging forward or arching your low back here to try and make up for that, is just slide your front foot forward maybe an inch or two, and then shift your weight forward. So bring your whole body with you. It'll feel like this leg is actually prying and pulling your body forward. Again, that way you don't have to worry about arching your low back or otherwise promoting something that we don't need to be working on stretching right now. Right now we're just focused on the quad. And so you should have a nice intense stretch right on the front of that thigh muscle. Hold for about 45 to 60 seconds and then switch sides. Second muscle group we want to focus on stretching when we're done with our squats is our glutes. And we have 3 different muscles in our glutes that we want to focus on stretching. I'll show you 2 different types of stretching that will address all 3 of those glute muscles. The first position you want to get started with, and you're going to bring yourself over to a wall so that you can use for support, or otherwise a bench or a couch or something you can put your foot up against. Lay flat on your back. Bring yourself close enough to the wall that you can get your knees at about 90 degrees here. And we're going to take one leg and we're going to cross it over into a figure 4. Now the common mistake a lot of people make here is that they either scoot too close to the wall or they lift their hips up so high that they don't even feel the stretch back here in this outside butt cheek area. So to maximize the stretch, when you get set up here, try and take both of the back side of your hips or the back side of your pelvis and pull down to the ground equally. What it'll feel like you're doing is squaring up your hips facing the ceiling. If that doesn't already increase the stretch, you can scoot in a little bit more, but try to make sure that that butt is as close to the ground as it can be. What you can also do to intensify the stretch is use one hand over top of your knee and one hand at your ankle or your foot and do a push-pull method here to help try and get that hip into a further externally rotated position. And so by pushing the knee forward and pulling the foot back toward me, I'm maximizing that stretch. Sit here for about 45 to 60 seconds and then go ahead and switch sides. Now after this stretch, I'll show you, after you do 45 to 60 seconds on this side, we're going to switch back to the other leg, but what we'll do, instead of being in a figure 4, we're going to fully cross that leg over and close the gap. So the gap that exists here between your thighs, we'll close that up, and you can take your knee now and pull it toward you. And what this will address now is that bigger muscle out of your glute group, your glute maximus. Pull it back. You should feel that stretch in the main meaty portion of your glutes, or in other words, the main meaty portion of your butt cheeks. Hold here for 45 to 60 seconds, and then switch and repeat on the other side. For this, it is okay for your hips or your butt to lift up off of the ground. And the third area we want to address after we're done squatting is our abdomen, because of course when we're squatting it's a compound lift and we're using our trunk stabilizers, including our abdomen, to make that movement really work. So let's give it a nice stretch, and let's also allow our spine to move a little bit here. To get set up for the abdomen stretch, we're going to come down into a belly facing down position on the ground. We're going to take our arms, we'll stretch them out at first just to set a nice neutral position. Start by sliding your elbows in and pressing your chest away from the ground, keeping your hips down, and see if you feel that stretch right here down the abdomen. This should be in the main front portion of your abdomen. If you don't quite feel the stretch, you can push back just a little bit more, so you can extend those arms out. Now, if you start out further away from your body, that's less height. If you pull in closer, you're gonna get a greater stretch here, but what you wanna make sure you're not doing is crunching or putting unnecessary pain in your low back while you're doing this exercise. So once you feel the stretch through the front of your abdomen, what we can also do is turn from side to side. So I'll just place one elbow down across the front of my body, use my other arm almost like a crowbar to help pull or wedge me to the side. I'll look over my shoulder, should feel a nice stretch in the side of your abdomen. And then I'll switch. I'll place that other arm down across my body, use my other free arm on the outside to help pry my body over so I can look over my shoulder. And all the while, I'm really trying to focus on keeping my hips down on the ground so that I'm creating length. If this is the anchor point, I'm creating length up here as I'm performing this stretch. So you should feel this stretch run down the main front portion and the outsides of your abdomen if you do all three of those positions. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.